Hey, friends, I'm Otis Gibbs, and this is Tim O'Brien. He's going to talk about his friendship with Guy Clark.
One of the first times I hung around with Guy was at Robert O'Keefe booked a gig in Boulder at this club, this kind of funky club that I used to play. And he had Guy play with his band. I hadn't met him. I just barely met him that night before he played or something. And then after the show, Guy was everybody's best friend. And Robert explained that he says, he sort of turns a corner at some point during the evening after he's had enough to drink and his gig is over, and then he's really happy about everything. And so we were friends, as he made friends that way. My sister and I did a tour of Ireland, and it was her first visit there, and we were co-bill with Guy and Travis Clark. His son was playing the bass with him. So we played 3 or 4 shows in Ireland, and then we played at the Cambridge Folk Festival also, and he was there. We got to know each other a little bit better on that trip. He came over here once, not long before he died. I'd have these jam sessions on the January 1st, and it was like bluegrass jams and a lot of fiddle tunes and that kind of thing. And Guy came and he said, I said, well, listen, I'm going to make sure there's a place to park right by the door so you don't have to get around. You won't have to go far. He was pretty frail at that point. But he brought his guitar, came in, and I can't believe nobody asked him to sing a song, not even me. And what he did the whole time was he rolled cigarettes, special tobacco, and he made his own nicely formed cigarettes. And I said, you can, nobody else can smoke in here, but you can. And he sat and he enjoyed the evening, and the afternoon into the evening, and never played a song, but he rolled a lot of cigarettes. And it was great. Those jams, we had John Hartford here one year. My son, who was he was on 2nd or 3rd grade. I said, what did you like about yesterday's party? He said, I like that old fiddler guy. And that was Hartford. I can't believe, the people I've met in this town, and it's an amazing community, and I'm lucky to know them. I played the guitar that he had that day here at the jam. It's a beefy, it's a lightly braced, really lively guitar, and but a beefy neck and almost like a classical neck. It was really a cool guitar. I think I maybe saw it in process in his basement. Go over there to write with Guy. I was making a record called The Crossing. I wanted to kind of, that project started with the idea of finding songs that were common songs and also common themes of people from Ireland and the United States, particularly Appalachia, I guess. Trying to sort of connect the dots, the influence, and recombine that sort of Irish Celtic kind of thing with old time music. But it quickly morphed into the idea of writing songs. Pierce Pettis and I wrote a song that we really liked, and I started writing more songs with other people. And so a friend of mine told me about this thing called the San Patricio Battalion. They were in the Mexican-American War. They were bunch of conscripts, German and Irish mostly, that had been marched down to Texas to defend Texas against Santa Anna. A whole bunch of them defected and fought on the other side, and they renamed themselves the San Patricios after St. Patrick because they were mostly Irish. They were Catholics, and they were looked down upon. Some of them probably hadn't learned how to speak English yet, but that's a job you could get, was go in the army. So they fought for the other side. They were artillery, and they fought with distinction, and they're heroes in Mexico. There's monuments to them down there at Churubusco, where they were all defeated finally in the end, and they were branded. They put deserter brands on their cheeks, on their face, a D. And a lot of them were hanged, and some of them, including their leader, they got away somehow. But so I called up Guy. I said, well, here's this topic I want to write about. He said, we got together. He didn't have any idea about that story. He had no idea about it. He said, I know somebody who does. So we called up this woman whose family has a big ranch down, I think, by Victoria, maybe, down, south of Corpus Christi, along the coast there. She said, oh, those people, there weren't that many of them. And they probably weren't really, they weren't really Americans or something. She was kind of funny about it on the phone. And so anyway, guy always had a joint, a glass of wine for you, you try to get something done. And, but it was just part of the routine. And we ended up writing a song and both liked it. So
I love that you have this really heavy topic and then you're like, oh, Guy Clark.
I know. Yeah. I remember when Guy came out with his record Dark, and Verlin said, I don't know why you call it this. I never thought of you as dark. And of course he means exactly opposite. He's very dark. Yeah, I think he was fun to be around. He just liked everybody's, he really liked everybody's music, and he liked talking about music. He liked hearing music, and he liked fiddle tunes. He really liked old-time fiddle tunes, which was surprising to me. He wanted me to play fiddle tunes for him and stuff, and we got to be, pretty decent friends. I mean, I'm like in awe of these people. I don't really want to bother them too much, but I find over the years that when I have an excuse to approach somebody like that, they're very friendly, When Guy was really sick in later years, I went over one day and I said, well, Guy, I want to come over and make some food for you. So I went over and brought all the stuff and made gumbo and just hung out with him. Process takes an hour and a half or so to get it started, really just to get it started cooking. And then I left a big pot of gumbo for him. And then maybe 6 or 8 months later, Daryl Scott and I were going to go over and cook at his place. And we had all the food, and then the storm came up and the power went out. And we kept trying to reach Guy. We talked to him on a cell phone. He said, no power. So finally we just gave up and we cooked it at our house and ate the food and didn't get to see Guy that day, but it was a nice idea. Yeah, I was at Douglas Corner when Guy made a live record, and it was the band was, I think Travis played the bass and Kenny Malone, probably Verlin Thompson and Daryl Scott, I'm pretty sure. And I'd just gotten back from the UK. I don't know what time of year it was. Jerry Douglas was sitting. They did it in and around. They were in a circle, and they had the chairs and tables around them. And I was over on, I guess, on the south side of the club, and I could see Jerry Douglas and his crew on the north side, kind of looking at me. And I kept falling asleep. I'd just gotten back from England, and I kind of like, slow songs that are going like this. But I was there, and that's a great record. Well, I knew Daryl at that point, and I'd met Verlin and stuff, and I knew Guy and Travis, and I think I hadn't played with Kenny before. That was another guy I met through Daryl. Losing people like John Hartford and John Prine and Guy Clark, Kenny Malone is it's really tough if you've been around them and you collaborate with them, and they hold up. They're sort of the lab standard for a lot of us, of a certain generation. They're all a little bit older than me, and so one thing I realize is I'm really lucky to be still around, and like Steve Goodman's vowed, once he got over leukemia the first time, that he would do the best he could with what days he has left. That's a lesson that keeps peeking its head up and saying, remember that lesson? When anybody passes away, you remember quick, hey, that's really the only good I get out of anybody like that dying, or anybody dying. It's like, okay, we're all headed there. We're all in the checkout line, but it's important that we make the best of it while we got the time. So, Steve Earle, I remember of some benefit concert he did, and he said, if a bomb dropped on this building, it's all his crowd, and it's people like I'm mentioning. He said, if a bomb dropped on this building, Nashville would be exactly the same afterwards. And maybe he's right. It all exists like this is like this big, if you think of a cell, and it's like the nucleus is this sort of commercial country game. There's so much other stuff around the outside that's way more interesting, and that's where I walk. That's where I live, and I think that other stuff. I think that nucleus needs that, even though you might not notice it if you only look at the center of it. And it's like this. I've also likened it to like a funnel. Like only some folks get in that funnel. I've come close to the edge, and it's kind of spilled in briefly and it's splashed out again. With a few songs getting recorded by other people, that's really been good. But it's good to, it's a good place to be, because you might actually make something happen. But you don't have to go down that tube in the funnel. You can sort of exist around the edges. And it's also like you can liken it to fishing, like. Fishing for songs and for success out in Boulder, Colorado was pretty good. But come to Nashville, you catch a lot bigger fish now and again. And I noticed that right away. Writing a song with Daryl Scott at Jack's Tracks in at the building there in their publishing office, the Forerunner Publishing down there. They've set up this appointment with me and Daryl Scott, and we ended up writing the song. And the song plugger for the publishing company walks by, says, "What's that?" And I said, "Well, we're working on a new song." He says, let me hear it as soon as you're done. And because Garth Brooks was downstairs doing something in the studio, he comes up and walks by and he says, "Whatever they're writing in there, let me hear that." I mean, I just wander into this, and so that's a big fish. He heard the song and wanted to record it. And so what I moved here for was to interface a little bit more with that so I could put my kids through school. And it worked out.